I've had the S25 Ultra for just over a year now. So how has it aged in the 12 months since I got it? Let's go. I've had the S25 Ultra for over 12 months. It's just enough time to know about a device, how it holds up over the course of daily usage. How does it perform after software updates? How does the camera handle itself? And the overall design. What's it like to live with? That's actually where I want to start, the design. Something that has struck me quite a bit about the S25 Ultra is how well the design has aged over the 12 months. Picking up other phones, aside from the obvious S25 Edge and Fold 7, which are in a different class of their own and actually lighter than this, they all feel uncomfortable in comparison to the S25 Ultra. When this came out, and over the course of the year, it's immediately dated any other phone that I continue to pick up and interact with. The S24 Ultra and any other Ultra before it, they all kind of feel cumbersome and uncomfortable to hold now. The S25 Ultra kind of belies itself with its appearance by how it feels to hold it. Whilst I think the sharp sort of corners and the edges here aren't quite as pleasant to hold compared to the S24 Ultra and even the S23 Ultra before it, the actual rest of the aesthetic and the rest of the design feel is great. It's lighter and thinner, which I think makes for a better in-hand experience overall, thanks to not holding as much and not feeling as sort of tiresome in your hands. And the rounded corners on the frame actually make for a nice soft experience in the palm. I think Samsung just hit a winner when it comes to the in-hand aesthetic of the S25 Ultra. And over the course of the year, I think I just got reminded of that every time I tried to pick up and use something else. And because this year was the first year I went and tried an iPhone, in contrast, the 17 Pro Max just felt heavy and nowhere near as sort of futuristic and comfortable as what this did. From a visual point of view, I actually really liked the design. Some people will completely disagree with me, but I actually really enjoyed the aesthetic of the camera rings around the actual camera lenses. And it's probably just me and maybe a few others, because I actually really enjoyed the contrast of the black of the camera ring against the light colored back of the glass. But I obviously can appreciate that that's not going to be for everyone. And whilst I think the back part of a phone is important from a design point of view, really the one that you need to focus on is the front, and that's the display. And it's the best part of the design experience, hands down. Phone down, hand up, phone up, doesn't matter. I have said it for the last 2 generations of Ultra. The anti-reflective coating, whatever it is they've got on the display, completes the display experience. Outdoors, indoors, it doesn't matter because it just does not show light whatsoever. It hits it and just absorbs it. It doesn't show it. It's so good in those situations where you're maybe taking photos with your camera outdoors or whether you're just consuming media. It really immerses you in the screen and makes it distraction free, so you don't have to get sort of distracted by the outside world. And I think an underrated part of the display that often gets overlooked is the speed and convenience of the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Having used various phones with different unlocking methods this year, whether it be Face ID, whether it be side-mounted fingerprint scanners, this ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, for me, remains my favorite. It works on a desk, it works when taking it out of your pocket nice and quickly. It's just a really convenient way of unlocking your phone and getting access to it quickly. Of course, you can't really review smartphones these days without talking about the camera. Now, as 2025 went on, I kind of realized something about myself and my own smartphone camera usage. I very, very rarely am looking for artistic photography level photos out of my phone. The main things I'm doing is recording B-roll or A-roll for YouTube, recording videos of football, or capturing moments, whether it be videos or photos, of my family. For literally all of those things, the S25 Ultra is perfect. Camera hardware flexibility? Check. You've got the ultra-wide camera at 0.6x all the way through to 10x, and that range in between is going to enable you to take really good either stills or videos. For me, the big highlight is the 5x camera. It can take some stunning shots in lots of different scenarios, and again, it's all centered around my family or YouTube videos. It just is. My wife especially has used the Ultra over the course of 2025, and she used that 5x camera to pretty much capture my son's entire season of football. Whether it be assists or goals, she was there to capture it using this camera. Samsung's biggest strength for me personally isn't the camera hardware so much. It's more with their camera modes and the offerings that it gives you. Single take, portrait mode, dual recording, auto framing, super steady, and then photography modes like expert raw and pro mode. They truly give you that flexibility of software to go along with that flexibility of hardware. And that for me just takes it to another level because it gives you freedom. Freedom to know that no matter the moment you've got around you, these are going to give you the option to capture it in the way you need to. Is it the best camera hardware of last year? No, probably not. No, not even probably not. It isn't. Is the processing and output the best? Also no. I would say that you've definitely seen better on some of the other flagships out there. But the experience is consistent. You know what camera modes do, you know what it's going to give you, and there's a camera mode or something for every single scenario. I just got back from a Christmas cruise, 2 weeks with my family over the Pacific Ocean, and I used this to capture everything, whether it be moments with the kids at Christmas, whether it be photos at the beach, and it was just able to nail it every single time. I had no issues. I never thought, I wish I could do this. It did it all. From quick launching it out of your pocket to capturing the moment, it's just dependable for everything. Is that enough though? Well, if it was just a camera, like these things were a dedicated camera and that was it, no, it wouldn't be. You'd probably want more from it. But the S25 Ultra isn't just these things here. There's an entire phone and, dare I say it, computer built into this thing that you can carry around. The software is kind of an area where I think a lot of people tend to take for granted for Samsung phones because at every nook and cranny, there's something to do. In the 12 months I've had my S25 Ultra, I personally have gotten 3 major updates. Well, it came with oneui 7, it then got updated to oneui 8, and now I'm running oneui 8.5. Each of those 3 updates are massive. But oneui in general, it's basically what separates Samsung from everything else. There's the usual suspects that I rely on, things like edge panels, for example, but I actually have spent a lot of time this year utilizing Galaxy AI and the tools that it offers me. They've pretty much, I would say, perfected the onboard AI experience on your phone, whether it be summarizing a notes file, whether it be transcribing audio from voice recorder, or whether it be editing audio with Audio Eraser. It's got everything in between to really take advantage of the power of AI and let you kind of do it in the thing that's in your pocket. But a real surprising way I think I've used AI a lot this year is the generative edit tool, which I guess is the one that's probably the most accessible and the one that gives you the most results instantly. But the speed of which it does it and the accuracy of the removal is phenomenal. It got better as the year progressed, and with 8.5, it's really going to be amazing. But it just makes me not second guess taking photos anymore, because if something enters the background of your photo, you don't have to snap another one, especially if the moment's gone. You can just remove the thing that was there and clean the whole thing up. The other part I've really enjoyed with the Ultra is DeX. No surprise, I make like 5 or 6 videos on DeX every few months because it's just such a powerful thing that I don't think gets enough exposure. And I love DeX so much that I've actually built a dedicated DeX zone in my office here. Like I will record this now, that there is a DeX zone. There's my Tab S11 Ultra plugged in and that's DeX running on the screen. I've bought DeX sort of stations, one's there and one's over there, that I can actually utilize and turn my office into like a DeX hub. That's how much I use Samsung DeX on here. Then of course, the S Pen. There's a rumor floating around that Samsung are maybe going to ditch the S Pen sometime in the future to try and make room for more internal space for bigger batteries or other internals. Please don't do it. The S Pen is such a fundamental tool to this series of phones, whether it be signing documents, whether it be writing notes, whether it be creating football teams on your Samsung Notes file. It's just such a great tool to know it's there. You don't have to use it every day. You don't have to use it every week. But the knowledge that this sits here is better than the knowledge of 400 milliamp hours of extra battery capacity. So please, Samsung, just leave it in. Then there's the ecosystem, which I think a lot of people, again, they sleep on. And that's probably because of the fact that the phone is so good on its own that it doesn't rely on the ecosystem around it. Whether you have the Galaxy Watch or not have it, the phone itself holds up. It's not like the iPhone where it needs the rest of the friends to complete the experience. This can actually stand on its own and give you an amazing experience by itself. You've got the camera software, you've got the display technology with the anti-reflective coating, you've got the S Pen, you've got Samsung DeX. All of these are independent of Samsung's wider ecosystem and can operate without it. The next thing for me for Samsung is to combine this with this. Bring the Fold and the Ultra together. Camera hardware, design, anti-reflective coating, and just give me one Ultra device that does it all. Sign me up for that and I'll be there. Could be a big year for Samsung this year with 2026, Tri-Fold, Fold 8. But first we have the update to this. It's going to be tough to beat. Let's see what Samsung have got. Hit subscribe to Tech with Benefits. Come find me on my socials and I'll see you guys in the next one. Yo!